I'm sorry. Our daughter is a medical student, and she is busy studying. On the day of our first family gathering before we got married, there was one empty seat on my husband's side of the table. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law noticed my gaze, and they both apologized. That sister, I told her clearly. My husband, Cole, complained about his sister, and he apologized to my family as well. My family said, "Don't worry about it." They seemed to be relieved by our attitude. "I hope you get along with my daughter as well." I nodded after my mother-in-law said that. Yes, of course. I didn't think much of anything at that time. Since my husband and his parents are nice, I assume that his sister is nice as well. My name is Hazel and I'm 30 years old. We got married 2 months ago. We are thinking about having a wedding ceremony sometime next year. My mother became ill and was hospitalized around the same time as our first family gathering. We want to have our wedding after she gets all better, because my mother has always told me that it was her dream to see me as a bride. Therefore, I decided to stay home and enjoy my time with my husband until then. I used to work as a doctor in a hospital before I got married. However, my hectic schedule had caused me to lose my physical and mental balance, and it began to interfere my work and daily life as well. I had my own patients, so it was not immediate, but those around me also recommended. So I left the hospital. Maybe big hospitals were not for me in many ways. When I was blaming myself for being unworthy as a doctor and I was ashamed, I met my husband. We dated and we got married. My husband, who grew up in a normal family, was surprised when he found out that I was a former doctor, but he saw me for who I was and not as a doctor. I'll do my best to keep Hazel smiling. My husband says, and he is working hard every day. I was diligent about cooking and housework for my husband. My husband is the reason why I am able to live with a smile on my face now. Thanks to my recuperation, my health is slowly improving, so I'm thinking about working again as a doctor. However, there was one concern in the midst of this happy life. It's his sister, whom I haven't met yet. According to my parents-in-law, she is a medical student and she has a busy life. We were supposed to meet at the first family gathering, but she couldn't make it due to his school work, so we weren't able to meet. I think she must be an excellent student because she passed the entrance exam in one shot. Since we got married a few months after our first family gathering, I had completely missed the timing to meet my sister-in-law. I was hoping to meet her sometime soon. One day, I came to town with my husband. We were enjoying looking at furniture and matching tableware together. When we were thinking about taking a break, "Oh, it's you, Cole." Her voice made my husband turn around. And I looked at the woman as well. A flashy woman who was wearing a dress with a plunging neckline, a pair of high heels, and a strong perfume, was standing there. "Riley, what are you doing here?" The woman called Riley was staring at me, and I felt uncomfortable. My husband introduced her to me. "Hazel, this is your first time meeting her, isn't it? This is my sister, Riley." "Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. My name is Hazel. So, this is my sister-in-law." She was a little bit different from who I imagined, but I greeted her politely. You shouldn't judge people by their appearances. The moment I reflected on this in my mind, my sister-in-law laughed as if she was looking down on me. "I see, you have gotten married. Okay. That means that she is my sister-in-law, right? You have a high income, and also you are handsome, so I really can't understand why you married this dull old woman." She was blatantly rude to me at our first meeting, and I froze. Indeed, my husband is 4 years younger than me, good-looking, works for a major drug manufacturer, and has a higher income than average. It's not hard to see why people who don't know anything about us would think that he is too good for me. But I couldn't understood the nerve to say it to my face. When I was thinking that his sister and I might not get along well, my husband stepped forward to defend me and scolded his sister. Hey, don't be rude. I mean, greet her properly. You didn't even come to the family gathering for your own reasons. She didn't seem to care, and she just laughed goofily. I went nightclubbing with my friends. I haven't done that in a long time. What? She wasn't busy with studying. I was shocked by the reason why she couldn't make it on that day, but I wanted to intervene, so I started talking. If I did do anything, my husband would have become enraged, and they were going to fight. Here. It's good that we met like this today. Riley, it was nice meeting you. Let's get along. My sister-in-law glared at me. By the way, what do you do for work? I'm a future doctor. Don't get too comfortable with me. The I'm great, I'm special aura was oozing. I flinched. Did she not like that I called her by her name? There were many people with a big ego around me, but it is rare to find someone so blatant. I replied, placating my husband, who was about to yell at her. I'm a housewife for now, but I used to. However, she cut me off. A housewife is the same as a NEET. NEETs are the trash of society. I don't want a NEET as my sister-in-law. Or are you a parasite that sucks up my brother's money? I wanted her to apologize to all the housewives in the world. My cheeks twitched. In my sister-in-law's mind, a full-time housewife is considered a NEET, and that's going too far. I intervened so we can get through the situation peacefully, but I might have made it worse. Riley, that's enough. Hazel is not like that. It's okay, Cole. I calmed him down. I think I learned about what kind of person my sister-in-law was in a short time. Since she passed the exam in one shot, and she still hasn't dropped any credits, there is no doubt that she is an excellent student. However, she seems to have a very bad personality. I think being a doctor is a wonderful profession. It's a really tough road, but keep up the good work. I smiled. What? Anit is acting like a know-it-all. I already know. You don't have to tell me. Oh yeah. I'm not going to give you a wedding gift because I'm still a student. It's okay, right? My husband doesn't even have energy to get angry at her anymore because she has been acting like a fool from beginning to end. Whatever. Just go now. He moved his hands as if he was shooing away an animal. My sister-in-law complained about it. I went out of my way to talk to you, but you are being mean to me. But it's okay. I'm busy, too. She said bye and left. When my sister-in-law was out of sight, my husband apologized to me. I'm sorry about my sister. She said so many rude things. She used to be much better. I said, it's okay. To be honest, my impression of my sister-in-law is close to the worst, but it is much better than having a sibling quarrel because of me. At least I finally met her, and I just have to keep my distance from her from now on. Thank you for defending me. Well, why don't we go and get something to drink to switch our minds? I'd love a nice cup of coffee. I smiled, and my husband nodded as if he was relieved. A few days later, I was visiting a big hospital nearby. I took the flowers and the tote bag with a change of clothes and some other stuff in it, and I put my hand on the door of a private room. Mom, it's me, Hazel. How are you doing? When I opened the door while I was talking, I saw my mother smiling happily on her bed. I often visit my mother in the hospital to bring her change of clothes and to take care of her. She seems to be doing very well today. My brother Ash answered instead of our mother while he was taking off his stethoscope. He works as a doctor at this hospital, and he is treating our mother as well. The familiar face softened the expression on my face. Ash, long time no see. I said. Likewise, he said, smiled, and took a note about our mother's progress. I put down my tote bag, and I sat down on the chair beside our mother's bed. Dad was also here a while ago, but he went to the conference. You just missed him. If you came a little bit earlier, we could have had the whole family here. Too bad. Our mother chuckled. To cut a long story short, this is the hospital that my father owns. I used to work as a doctor just like my father and my brother in this hospital. It's kind of weird to say that it's both my parents' home and my former workplace. After we enjoyed the family chat for a while, I wonder if the pills that I just took are kicking in. I'm getting tired. Our mother said and fell asleep. I put a blanket on her. Maybe she was relieved to see us. My brother and I looked at each other, smiled, and left her room. After that, he and I sat down on a couch in the lobby. Are you doing well with Cole? He asked and I nodded. Yes. I'm having a great time every day. He smiled and stroked my head. He has always been concerned about me, and it hasn't changed even after I got married. Since you stopped working here, the whole family has been worried about you. Meeting Cole was the luckiest thing for you. I think Cole was the big reason why I was able to recover this well. As we continued to chat, a nurse came to speak to him, and he had to go. Just give me a minute. I'll be right back. I agreed, and I saw him off to the patient. He is essentially the second busiest man in the hospital after our father, who is the director. It was almost a miracle that we even had a time to chat. I was supposed to help my father and my brother in this hospital. My mind became slightly clouded, and I was getting depressed. Oh, why are you neat here, Hazel? I looked up at the familiar loud voice. My sister-in-law was looking down at me while I was sitting on the couch, with a nasty smile on her face. The way she said while emphasizing on the word neat bothered me, but I still smiled at her. Hi, Riley. I came to visit my mother here. By the way, we are in a hospital, so you might want to lower your voice. I was inwardly disturbed that I had met someone I didn't like when I started feeling down. My sister-in-law ignored my casual warning, and she kept speaking in the same loud voice. Oh, your mom is in the hospital? I'm here for my internship today. I kind of thought that would be the case from the way she was dressed. It makes sense that she is here because she is a medical student at a school nearby. However, I didn't want to see her if possible. By the way, her appearance is a little bit. I casually looked at my sister-in-law's outfit, and I was taken aback. Her makeup was gaudy, though not as gaudy as when we met the other day, and her hair was tied loosely. I know that she is too busy to fix her appearance, but I wondered if she understands. When I was working as a doctor, I wore my makeup, but I focused on cleanliness, so I kept it to a level that would not cause any discomfort to patients. I wondered if nobody pointed it out to her. I glanced behind my sister-in-law, and I saw that some medical students and a few doctors from this hospital were flustered and their faces looked pale. Most of the doctors at this hospital are my former colleagues, and there are many medical students who now know that I am the director's daughter, because they have been told by the doctors around them. To them, my sister-in-law must appear to be a daredevil medical student who is rude to the director's daughter. I thought that my sister-in-law's loud voice would disturb the people in the hospital, so I started talking to change the location at least. Listen, Riley. A loud voice might bother. My sister-in-law interrupted me with a big sigh, as if it was on purpose. Your mom must be relieved that her neat daughter has found a man with a high income like my brother. You're making my brother pay for your mom's hospital bills, aren't you? It sounds like the kind of thing that a mother and a daughter, who are the trash of society, would think of. She smirked and laughed, and she said in a way that let everyone around us know how embarrassing person I was. My sister-in-law's awful words made even passing patients frown, not to mention the doctors and medical students around us. I was indeed losing my patience because she called me a need in public, and she even insulted my mother, who had nothing to do with her. Hey, that's enough. One of the medical students couldn't stand it anymore, and he tried to stop her, but my sister-in-law wouldn't listen. She needs to be told this much. She was smiling. The doctor who tried to stop her raised an eyebrow at her line. Your life is over, he said and left. My sister-in-law didn't seem to understand what he meant by it. Then my brother, who finished his business, came back. He tilted his head at me and my sister-in-law, who were facing each other, and also at the strange atmosphere around us. Oh, Ash. My sister-in-law's attitude changed drastically when my brother appeared, and I was mortified. This is totally playing the hypocrite. My sister-in-law changed her tone of voice and rubbed up against my brother. It seemed as if even my sister-in-law's physiognomy has somewhat changed. My brother is young, talented, and quite good-looking, even from a younger sister's point of view. He is very popular, partly because he is our father's successor. I instantly knew that my sister-in-law was after my brother. Hazel, did something happen? When he called me by my name, my sister-in-law sneered at me. Excuse me, Ash. Are you friends with her? She was calling a doctor of the hospital where she practices by his name. I was amazed, and my brother replied, kind of, while he was slowly distancing himself from her. She didn't seem that she liked his reply. Okay, but she is married. You didn't know, did you? Ash, you are very popular, so you better watch out. She persisted. Or rather, her nasally sweet voice was annoying. My sister-in-law seemed to have mistaken me for a rival who is after my brother. I know because she is my sister. When he said that, she stopped moving. Huh? Wait, what? The way she was surprised was funny, and I had to try hard not to laugh. While my sister-in-law was stunned, the medical student who tried to stop her earlier started whispering to my brother. Perhaps he was telling my brother what had happened. My brother's expression turned grim in a flash. Then, you are the daughter of the director? She seemed confused, so I nodded. Yes, I'm his daughter. I used to work here as a doctor. I had to quit due to health problems, though. I'm recuperating, so I'm just trying my best to do the housework as a housewife for now. When I said that, she became pale. My husband told me before that she was hoping to get a job at this hospital. Now that my brother knows that she insulted our mother and me, she must have understood that she was doomed to find a job and to get married to a rich guy, I guess. I glanced at the side of my brother's face. I smiled wryly inside my head because my brother said in a quiet voice, "It's beyond unbelievable. In the first place, it seemed that my brother wasn't interested in her at all. Riley, you seem excellent as a medical student, but..." When I continued, my sister-in-law's shoulders shook in fear. You call someone a trash of society, and you look down on people. I think you have a problem as a human being before you can become a doctor. Unless you realize what the problem is, you don't deserve to become a doctor. Think hard and repent yourself. I said in an admonishing tone, and people around us were nodding as if they agreed with me. She was lectured by me whom she looked down on, and she disappointed my brother whom she adored. She must be feeling down in a series of shameful situations. However, I didn't want her to become a doctor if she stayed like this. I believe that doctors must be considerate of other people's feelings. What? I don't know what you are talking about. Perhaps she couldn't stand the atmosphere. She turned around and started running away. We don't run in the hospital. Oh God. A passing nurse warned her, and that surprised my sister-in-law, and she fell down in a heap. My brother and I looked at each other and laughed. 6 months have passed. My sister-in-law, who had always had a very bad personality, became completely isolated from everyone around her after she made fun of me in the hospital. My sister-in-law, who had a big ego, lost control of herself, drank heavily, got seriously injured, and was admitted to a hospital. Because of that, my sister-in-law seemed to have finally understood her own arrogance when she was in the position to be saved by a doctor. I'm so embarrassed. I want to apologize to Hazel. My parents-in-law told me that she spends her days regretting and reflecting. My sister-in-law has decided to take a leave of absence from medical school, and she intends to change her mind and do her best when she gets out of the hospital, but she will probably have a rough road ahead of her. I, on the other hand, was hired by a pharmaceutical company as a medical doctor. My job is to research and develop drugs and verify the safety of new drugs. My father and my brother have asked me to come back to the hospital, but I want to start afresh and do my best in a new place and a new job. My mother's health has recovered to the point where she can recuperate at home, and she is looking forward to attending our wedding next year.